Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us on Fitness Friday. This is Sunil Chandy. I am the priest and rector here at Christ Episcopal Church, and this is a program out of Christ Episcopal Church. And today we'll have Sharon Younkin, who will give us a weekly update on Fitness Friday and on helping us in terms of our emotional health. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Hi, Father Steele. How's everybody? I'm excited to be here for Fitness Fridays. So the tip of the day, the tip of the Friday, I guess, avoiding mood-altering substances. So how I'm defining a mood-altering substance would be alcohol or illicit drugs, like drugs, that people buy off the street. Uh, and so just want to say, during the pandemic, we know we've had a significant increase in alcohol use as a way of coping.
Hmm.
So I just want folks to be aware of the potential fitness challenges with that idea. We know that alcohol is a mood altering substance. It's a depressant. Also, some folks will sometimes use cannabis as a way of, helping with their anxiety. Uh, so the challenge with marijuana sometimes can be, it can increase anxiety, it can increase paranoia. We also have a synthetic form of cannabis that's out now that sometimes people are buying, not through those, centers, but more kind of, again, in the street kind of situation, and those are very challenging. They can cause psychosis even sometimes. So, and affect motivation, really decrease your level of motivation. So I'm here, just to say, be careful. Make sure, if you're struggling with depression or some of these other things and you are using a substance, like I just mentioned, that might be the reason why. You wanna look into that and get support. And lastly, you look online if you aren't sure, "Hey, maybe do I have something that's challenging here I need to look at?" It's called the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Association, SAMHSA. And you can look online, and they'll give you all sorts of information about resources in your area for help, as well as, what some of these, challenges, are with the different substances, that people can develop. So, yeah, it's actually SAMHSA. Um, yeah, um, yeah, so
Well, I think this is really interesting because I love what you just say. What you said. I mean, the idea about when we have a challenge, to be able to reflect on it, think through it, and not just uh, immediately look at ways to avoid the challenge by by self medication, right? I mean, the
right, and that's what people are doing, really, they're numbing out, right? Ultimately,
yeah,
the core of that is, I don't wanna feel the distress that I'm feeling, so I'm going to use a substance. And it works in the short term very well, but it doesn't work in the long term because there invariably are health consequences, social consequences, psychological consequences. You're also not building your ability to use skills,
right.
you're avoiding. And so, um, and so it's kind of like short term, it's in some ways facing without using substances, short term pain, long term gain,
Yeah,
right?
right. I mean, the idea being that if you face this challenge, and it's almost as if you want to have this challenge taken away. You don't want to deal with it, and so but then you lose the opportunity to really grow from it, grow from
Mhm.
the challenge, even though it's painful.
Right. Even though, and that's part of building your emotional well-being, your that's part of fitness, really. That's part of psychological fitness, is you have to work on building resilience, and part of that is learning how to tolerate distress and learning other skills, coping skills. So I think it's connected to also practicing other coping skills that are, healthy for you, rather than potentially harmful.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Sharon, for this because it makes sense. And I know that even in New England, we've had a number of people who, I mean, many young adults who have fallen prey, especially during the pandemic years, to substance abuse and addiction.
Very, very true. We have an opioid epidemic that's very serious, and we have accidental overdoses because of what is being put in some of these substances. So, very serious, and you have to really, I think, work to we wanna also model for parents out there, model for our children using other ways to cope, not turning to substances.
Yeah.
Because it is a really there's a tricky world out there right now with everything that's going on.
And one of the things, because it's Fitness Friday, I think and one of the things that I tend to do is I love to do when I'm dealing with particular challenges is exercise. I mean, I use that as my
Mhm.
way to kind of help me to make my body move, and oftentimes gives me new ways of thinking and new ways of being. You know,
That's so true. I think the program you're running with Fitness Fridays is helping people that you are providing other ways of coping.
yeah,
How you eat, exercise, you know, sleep, all of these other factors, are what are will help people to deal with distress rather than turning to substances, so it's important work.
right. And then having conversations with people like you, Sharon. Thank you again for this insight and every insight that you give us.
Thank you, Father Chanel. Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Friends, thank you for being with us on Fitness Friday. I hope that you'll come back next week for another tip. I think these tips will help us cope with all of the different situations that we have that come up in life too. Thank you again. God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.